The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, the branded athlete, featuring in-depth interviews with and commentary on today's biggest and most successful athletes. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, the branded athlete.
Okay. This is my first time listening to this song.
Missy did that.
She did.
She's back.
What the? Woo!
You
Go
see it?
ahead,
How
for real.
old is this song?
Like a day old.
Oh, it just
It's
came out.
fresh.
She already got almost 2 million
It's
views.
fresh.
What? Okay,
People-
guys.
The streets have been waiting.
They have been. Missy's hot. We're hot. You are watching The Branded Athlete on Black Hollywood Live Thursday nights at 7. This is where you need to be. I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram and on Periscope and on Snapchat at Erica Renee D.
I am Andre Dean, yours truly. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Andre the Giant, AUNDRETHAGIANT.
And I'm Raina. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at Raina_Ale.
And I am Joshua Johnson. Catch me on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope at JJ the Talented. And yo,
What?
The movie star is back. We got a full panel.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, guys, this is the first time in a few weeks that all four of us have actually been. So the
Yes.
gang's all here.
Yes.
Andre has been promoting his movie.
Yes, I have.
You want to give him a quick blurb about it, really quick?
Carter High, it is in theaters right now in Texas, Houston, and Dallas, and it'll be in theaters and everywhere on tomorrow. So please go see it. It's in selective theaters.
wait, man.
But yeah, go see it. Carter High. Google it, CarterHighMovie.com. You can find all the information and all the theaters on it.
What's your character?
That's what I was
I
gonna say.
play Derek Evans. It's a football movie. I play Derek Evans, a parade All-American safety. It is a true story.
What you know about football?
So go check it.
What
I know
experience
that
do you
shit.
have?
Just a
I know
little
that
bit.
sham. I know that sham.
I saw the trailer. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm
too,
gonna see that.
actually.
Well, we're going to all see it. We're going to all see it.
Now, for all you fans out there who were expecting our special guest, Kareem Rush, former NBA player, former Laker, currently a fashion entrepreneur, businessman, Kareem is not going to be here today. He actually had another engagement come up at the last minute. But we are going to reschedule for all you Laker Nation people out there, all you just NBA fans.
And shout out to we did get a question from Derek Floor on Facebook.
Yeah, Derek.
He had some questions for Kareem, but we got to reserve those till next time when we get him scheduled.
Next time. Okay, so make sure, guys, as always, follow Black Hollywood Live on Twitter at BHL Online, and also follow Black Hollywood Live at blackhollywoodlive.com. Let's jump right into it. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
This has been a polarizing week in college football and sports and on social media as the Missouri football players staged what I think is one of the biggest statements that we've ever seen from college football players of our generation. Missouri football players decided last Saturday night that they were no longer going to participate in any activities that were football-related practices or games on the heels of a highly volatile racial climate on the University of Missouri's campus. And one of their demands as they were protesting was that President Tom Wolf needed to step down because he mishandled several racial incidents that happened on that campus, from a swastika being smeared on a dorm room wall in feces to black students being harassed by people riding by in trucks calling them racial slurs, to other incidents that happened to some of the other students on campus of people of color. So my question to you guys, are you surprised that this happened? Do you think that the University of Missouri football players had a right to protest? And how do you guys think this will impact sports moving forward?
I think you always have a right. I mean, you have this right, freedom of speech. You can do whatever you want, say whatever you want. Well, not do whatever you want, but say whatever you want. I don't think they're wrong for doing that. I don't think it's going to make very much of a difference, to be honest.
No?
Because at a university, you got to realize there's higher powers. It's not like you can just up and remove a athletic director or athletic coordinator or something like that just off the top. Like, there's a process
I'm gonna
that has
let
to
you
be
finish.
taken.
I'm gonna let you finish.
There's a process that has to be taken in order for that to happen, and I think that process needs to run its course.
Man, I got to disagree with you because we can see with this instance right here what it did. I mean, we had the president did resign.
Tom Wolf resigned, yes.
He resigned. We had, and wasn't there another official that resigned?
There's a chancellor a chancellor stepped down as well.
And I would say, yeah, it's well within their rights. I agree with you on that. I think this makes a huge difference because, for one, when it's college football, and college football makes a lot of money. And when money is involved, things happen, change happens, as we see in this case. And I like what they're doing because I think we need that more often in this society. When something is not going right, stand up for it. And we're seeing that a little bit more and more, but I think this takes a very important step in where we are as a society to say, hey, we don't believe in this injustice. We don't believe you did the right thing, and here's what we're going to do about it. And in this case, they did something about it, and it worked. And it worked out. And the president resigned, and that's what they wanted. So I fully agree with what they did.
I agree as well. I do think that student athletes, especially male student athletes, they have a voice, and that's unique to other students there. For example, I think sports teams, they bring a lot of attention to the universities, and I think that this was a good move for these football players to step up. And if you think about it, do you think that the world or everyone would know about these protests if it wasn't for the football team to step up and say something? Like, I think by them going on social media, posting those pictures and taking a stand, I think that brought everyone's attention to this.
I agree, Raina. And so basically, these players decided that they wanted to protest because, in light of all these incidents that happened, they felt like the administration was mishandling and basically ignoring the people of color on campus. And by them protesting and deciding not to play in the BYU game this weekend, so Saturday, the school would have lost $1 million. And as you said, Josh, when you start talking money, you start affecting people's pocketbooks.
Yes.
That's how you really start affecting change. But I can say one thing that bothered me was reading all the comment sections, which I probably should not have done. But if you read the comment sections under the articles, you see a lot of people saying stuff like, "Oh, they're football players. They should just be on the field playing. You're getting a free education. What are you complaining about? Okay, if they want to protest, then you should take their scholarships." I know that incenses me. You played football at college, Dre. What do you think?
I mean, there are some rights and some wrongs to that. I don't believe that you should take anybody's scholarship for standing up for something that they believe is right. And it is right. I mean, if you feel uncomfortable in that situation, I think it'll make change on a campus, but I don't think it's a smart idea. I don't think all athletes should take this idea and be like, oh, well, if we see something that's wrong as a team, we're gonna just protest. I don't think that's a smart move because you can do that if you have a great cause and it's a great stand for it.
But
you gotta be careful. No, it is. But what I'm saying is you just can't get used to thinking that just because things don't go your way or things aren't going as if you would want them to go, that you can just up and say, oh, we're not going to play
because our uniforms
and people are going
to,
because there's still a process. Like there's people in place.
So Dre, are you saying so you don't think the players should have protested?
I'm not saying
in this scenario.
In this scenario, I think that they were right. I think that they were absolutely right. But I'm saying in general, the question that I thought you was asking was, do you think that it's going to affect the NCAA as a whole? I don't think that it will. I think that as a whole, these players shouldn't look at this and say, oh, well, this kind of gives us ammunition to say, well, if something's not going our way, because for a while, the athletes were complaining in college saying that they weren't getting paid.
That's still a huge issue.
It is, but now if athletes were to protest and to stop and to say, hey, in college, we're not going to play, I don't think that's a strong enough cause because you're getting a free education, you're getting books, tuition. I mean, this is people that I know that are in debt, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 in debt for college that they have to pay for.
Maybe not in that case, with the argument being, okay, we're going to not play because we want to get paid. But I think what this does though is give other teams and other athletes the knowledge that they have this power. They have this power now at their disposal where they can say, hey, if we choose to do this, we know now because of what happened at Missouri that we can affect some change because people, when it comes to football and money, that's number one thing. Money, you're going to affect change.
If the cause is worth standing for and it's something that's right. It can't
we'll
just
see
be
going
opinionated.
forward.
Sure.
It can't just be something opinionated like, oh, I think that we should get paid more, or I think that as an athlete this should happen, or I think that we shouldn't.
I agree with that.
I think we
I'm
should
saying
be able to wear
in the right context.
In the right context.
This was the right context, and hopefully
was.
in the future we'll see it in the right context.
Well, what's interesting about saying this is
absolutely.
the right context, of course, all of us are on the same page thinking that this is in the right context to protest. But if you read the comment section, you see a lot of people who do not think that they had the right to protest. A lot of people are saying, you're privileged, you're going to school for free, you don't have a right to decide.
No.
And,
And
so,
that's
and so
incorrect.
it's a very subjective thing. Now, I think because our racial climate in America is so volatile, of course, as a black woman in America, yes, you have the right to protest for what's right, especially when it comes to racial injustices, and especially when it comes to your administrators not having your back on a campus where you're supposed to feel safe. We think it's right, but people out there do not think it's right.
Let me say
Raina,
something
Josh?
about the comment section. A lot of these articles I read and that we read about sports or whatever subject. Let me say this to the camera. Like, I don't think now one of you people who who write these crazy, ignorant, racist comments on these message boards would say any of that stuff in public if you weren't behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's really
That's true.
ridiculous how we live in
Agreed.
2015, almost 16, and we still have to face and look at this stuff and read this stuff every day on some article in the comment section. How racist people are. That's really ridiculous.
It's
We shouldn't be doing
heartbreaking.
that at this day and age.
And people
it
use
is
it-
heartbreaking.
Social media too.
And this is
Go ahead.
no,
No, we're gonna
go
talk
ahead.
about social media later, but
Yeah.
people hide behind like Instagram and Twitter
They
to
do.
attack all these players, these coaches. Like, that's just what they do, and it's sick. It's like,
What is the deal? We are all humans.
Yeah.
We are all the human race, and we're
Right.
getting caught up over some color of people's skin and then the difference
Yeah.
between people. This is ridiculous.
And people hate when we take it all the way back to slavery, but oftentimes people do not consider black people to be as equal as their white peers. And when you talk about we're all human, some people don't really view athletes particularly as being human. A lot of people view athletes as being superhuman, but you're just our entertainment. On my Facebook, actually, I posted a picture of the Missouri protest, and I put, they're not just for your Saturday afternoon entertainment. They're not just to be out there running and kicking balls and hitting each other and tackling. Like, they are actual people, and it makes me so mad that you want to cheer for them on Saturday, but you want
Right,
to call them
right.
idiots because they're standing up for something they believe in. Makes me so mad.
And then go to church on Sunday.
And they go to church on
But see,
Sunday.
that's why you said it though. You can't be reading them comments because them people ain't
Those
got
comments
a
make
lick.
me so
and
upset.
a lot of times
If
they're
that's fit on you-
fans. They're fans
okay.
from opposing teams
Yeah.
just going on there to rile up stuff to get
just
it.
start trolling,
Right,
you know?
exactly. Which is all right.
Raina, jump in.
no, but like, I can speak from an athlete's perspective, and you can as well.
For sure.
It's frustrating when people say, "Oh, you have a free tuition. You're free." No, you don't know the hours we put in off the court or off the field. You don't know the study hall hours we had to put in. We have to be eligible to play as well. So yes, being an athlete is a job.
Yeah.
You have to
full-time.
you work, and if you don't perform well, you can get kicked off the team, and you don't have college. So it's like for some people, if they
For
can't
some,
afford it. So
yeah.
that's just I hate when people say that, like, oh, your school's paid for. Oh, you don't do anything but play football or basketball. Like, no, we work really, really
do.
hard for this.
And
That's ridiculous.
sometimes practice would go, like in my case, practice would go past the time the dining hall was
yeah.
open,
Exactly.
and that free tuition
lot
didn't
of
pay for
times.
my dinner.
Yeah.
When I was hungry and the cafeteria was closed, what was I supposed to do then? You know what I mean? So I
Absolutely.
forget the argument about free tuition.
Yeah.
No, that's
There's-
ridiculous.
Yeah.
You guys out there, let us know what you think. Use the hashtag #TheBrandedAthlete. We want to know what you think, and it's because it's such a sensitive topic. It's very hard sometimes for me, at least I can say, to try to see the other side because I feel like the other side is coming from such a place of negativity. But if you agree or disagree, we want to see it and keep it. Don't be vulgar. Because we will block you.
or I'll just straight up debate you and shut you down. What I do.
Vulgar. Moving from.
Do we want to talk about the
go ahead.
coach and the flip flop people?
Okay, yeah.
I'm not to beat a dead horse with this topic, but
Pinkel. So basically, Coach Pinkel, head coach, stood up for his team at the beginning of everything. He said, "I support my players," and then by the time Tuesday came around and Tom Wolf actually resigned, he said that I support my players, but I wasn't particularly supporting Tom Wolf resigning. So he was kind of speaking out both sides of his neck. I get that. Because he's in a very precarious position as a head coach, as a leader of a predominantly black football team. He's in a very arbitrary place. Like, he wasn't asking for Tom Wolf to get fired or to get resigned.
not.
I mean, he's a head coach, and then Tom Wolf is the president of the university. Obviously, they are each other's colleagues. All he was trying to say was that I support my players. I am their father figure when they're at school. I am their leader. And so for his backtracking, I just think he was just trying to clarify his position.
Do you think somebody got to him and said, "Well, hold a minute"? Now.
Of course. Those boosters, those people, yes. Let me shut up.
Wait a
Dre,
minute
somebody
now.
else go, because I can just go on all day.
That's real. I think he did what he was supposed to do. I think he played. Like I said, there's higher powers. There's always somebody over you, that's over him, that's over her, etc. You know what I mean? And as a coach, as a head coach, there's people, there's higher powers that's over you that you have to respect, regardless to what your players are saying. But he did a great job in keeping it, and swinging it in both directions because he's supporting his players.
Yeah.
Which you have to do as a coach if you want them to give everything for you out there on that football field. You got to stand up for them, in the public. You got to do that.
Yeah, I think he did a pretty good job balancing, his job as a head coach and also catering to his players' needs. So, I mean, he is in a difficult position, but I think he handled it all right.
Any last thoughts on the Missouri fallout protest? Josh?
I mean, like I said, I hope we see, in the proper context, Dre, I hope we see a lot more of this when standing up for injustice. Definitely, because the power belongs. I mean, I wish we realized as a nation, as in this case, as athletes and as consumers, that we have the power to boycott. We have the power to protest. And we can actually, like, if you don't like the way your elected officials are operating in the government, hey, you have the power to remove them. If you don't like the way a certain unnamed theme park is raising ticket prices every year, you have the power to not go, and you can boycott. You know what I mean? Like, we have this power in our hands, and so I'm glad they used it in the right context, and I hope we see more of this when it stands up for causes like injustice.
Raina, anything?
No, we're gonna touch on this later. Kind of is similar to social media. But if you have like your all-star player who will stand up and voice his or her opinion, I think that I think it's a positive thing. Like if you stand up for it, you're gonna bring a lot of awareness. You have a voice, even though you are an athlete. Like, say if you're I don't know. I just feel like that's a way to use
your platform.
Use your platform.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna lighten it up a little bit.
We always do that.
We have some meaty subjects though. We talk about what's real.
We do.
And
Okay.
what's current.
So moving from college football to fantasy football, if you guys out there are not fantasy football players, you need to start playing right now. We tell you this every week. We just cannot get it through your heads that, DraftKings.com is the only way to go. We all play fantasy football. Raina's even getting into fantasy football now. I don't know if you guys are winning. My team is losing.
And what's
I lost last
crazy is
week. I'm
on
still third place.
DraftKings, you can do basketball.
Yes.
It's not just football.
Exactly.
You're right.
Soccer.
College football?
College football.
Yep.
I just figured that out. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you guys, you hear us, like we are telling you, go to DraftKings.com, put your fantasy skills to the test. Every week there's going to be one new $1 million winner crowned this football season. And at the end of the football season, there's going to be a grand prize winner of $2 million. So when you go to DraftKings.com, make sure you use the promo code BLACK so that everyone knows that Black Hollywood Live sent you. And you can always remember to send us your thank you cards with our cut of the check. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Now, from college football to fantasy football, back to college football.
Because college football is popping right now.
It is supreme. Oh, are you heartbroken that TCU lost?
You know what? I will tell you, I am not heartbroken.
You should be.
I'm a fan. I'm a diehard fan of the game in general. So I believe that if you come out and you play well, you win.
But that's
and if
your
you
team.
come out and you don't play well, you don't win.
But
It
you
don't matter if
play.
it's my team or whose team. That's the reality of it. I'm disappointed, yes, because I think we could have won that game. But it is what it is. When
Look
you
at
play
Drake,
bad,
man.
you
This
lose.
guy gonna be a politician.
What?
One day.
Let me
gotta keep it
He's a
real,
diplomat.
though.
You
You
are
gotta
so full
keep it
of it.
real.
You're full
He
of
talking
it.
You gotta
about
keep
there's
it
people
real.
in power. We can't upset people in power. And then when it comes to his own team, he's like, well, if they lose, they lose.
Let me
I
tell
can't,
you.
know.
I mean, what am I to say? I absolutely think that they should not be in the top 5 right now because they lost.
But you didn't shed a tear, a little purple and
No,
white
I didn't
tear?
shed a tear. Ain't no shed no tears.
A little horn
What,
frog
the school
tear?
pride.
Didn't I tell you I was very disappointed, and it was very.
Okay, so
I couldn't
you-
even finish
you
the
were-
game.
so you
Now,
were
I will tell you
disappointed,
that.
at
I'm
least.
disappointed. I
Okay.
said I was disappointed off the rip.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I
All
said
right.
that,
I must
sir.
have missed that.
Man, so moving on, man. Look, so the top 5 teams this week in playoffs for Week 11 is going to be number 5 is going to be Iowa. Number 4, Notre Dame.
Right.
Number 3, Ohio State. Number 2, Alabama. And number 1, Clemson. Clemson again, holding it down. Did you guys get a chance to watch any
Of course.
college football?
Yes,
Right.
yes. I'm
Okay.
a Bulldog, so I'm having a tough year, but I'm steadfast in watching it every Saturday, even though my team is out of it probably from here until further notice.
Eternity.
Shut up, Josh.
Yeah.
You know what, Josh?
Georgia, yeah. They
I've always
probably
been about
up
her
out of it.
about her teams, but
That's why they're separate.
Dre,
Other sides.
you better go continue on.
Hey,
Dre not gonna stand up for you.
Stop it.
There's
Nah.
people in power who ahead of him who might want to.
He gonna run it back on me. So the top 4 teams this week in the playoffs. The only team I would think that has to kind of watch it this week would be Alabama, because Alabama's 8-1, but they're going against Mississippi State, which is 7-2.
Yeah.
And I think everybody in the SEC is pretty decent. Like every week, that's one of the conferences that every week you got to come out and play.
That's a power conference.
Right,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So every week you got to come out and show them what you got. Number 4, Notre Dame is playing Wake Forest.
That's one to watch too, though, Dre.
I think, maybe,
because they're on the bubble. They're right there on the cusp. So they don't have any leeway.
That is true. If they don't have no room to lose, and they already lost one game already this season. So if they do lose again, it's really going to bump them farther away. Ohio State going up against Illinois, which I don't really see a big.
Okay, let me say this about Ohio State. A lot of their games, especially at the beginning of the year, Northern Illinois University, Maryland.
Was balling.
I mean, Ohio State barely won some of those cupcake games, and Illinois is yet another one of those cupcake games on their schedule. So I'm not saying that they're going to lose that game, but I am saying if they don't win convincingly, that will further hurt their ability to move up. They've already gotten jumped by Alabama, who has lost the game.
Absolutely.
So Ohio State needs to blow Illinois out, I think, to remain in that number 3 spot, or else they're going to drop down. They can't pull another NIU or Maryland game again this week.
Plus, they have Michigan and Michigan State on the schedule.
Still having to
Two
play
top
both of those
Ohio,
teams.
Ohio State's going
Top
to
15
lose at
teams.
least once or twice this season, I believe.
I will tell you though, if they do, because it's so harder to win. It's hard in general to win every week in college football. To come out consistently and do it every week, and let alone
Clemson
be
might do it.
undefeated. I mean, I think you got to be at this point. You're gonna have to be undefeated to
have a lot. To be a lot.
Right, to have a lot. If you're not one of those SEC teams like Alabama, and I don't even think, to be honest, I don't think Notre Dame is gonna stick in that. Nope, I don't think they're gonna stick in the top in the top 4. Even if they didn't lose another game for the season, I don't think they're gonna stick. Just because I think there's some better teams in the SEC that's got an opportunity to sneak up,
Like an LSU
on them.
or.
And I also think you got to look out for Baylor, who's an undefeated team right now. Oklahoma State's an undefeated team right now. If they are to go all the way throughout the field undefeated the rest of the season, you can't expect a 8-1 Notre Dame team who's in they're not in a conference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't expect them to be ahead of somebody who's coming out of a top conference like Big 12. Yeah. If they don't lose any more games and there's an undefeated team out of the Big 12.
And Notre Dame will have the same, I guess, Achilles heel that a Big 12 team would have, not having a playoff, not having a conference playoff. So, okay, I think we all interrupted you, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
You were going down the countdown.
I was going down the countdown. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, we got Notre Dame, Wake Forest. We got Ohio State going against Illinois, Bama going against Mississippi State, and Clemson going against Syracuse. So it is going to be another good week of football, and hopefully I'm looking for. I like this playoff thing, don't y'all? Because it's interesting to kind of see every week to watch and see
the ups and downs.
Yeah, to see the things shift.
Who would you say the two of you? Who would you say would be the top 4 at the end of the season?
The top 4 at the end of the season. If Baylor goes undefeated.
What's with you in this Baylor?
I mean, the Big 12 is the closest conference to the SEC.
I disagree. I disagree. I would say right now it would go SEC, Pac-12 / Big 10.
No,
Yes.
It's no way. No way.
Okay,
Get
but
on up out of here.
Michigan State. Wait a second. What Harbaugh has done with Michigan, with not even having a full year to recruit, Big 10. What Urban Meyer has done with Ohio State for the past 3 years, with 3 quarterbacks.
Look at
Big 10. What Michigan State does every year.
How many
Big
teams
10.
do they have? Does that conference have in the top 25?
Let's see. Michigan State, Ohio State. At least 3. I'm sure I probably missed somebody.
That's not enough.
How many
The
teams
Big
in
12 has 7. The Big 12, more than
Oklahoma
half of the
State.
conference.
You got real quiet.
But this is when we need our cups.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted. No, I'm just kidding.
I hear what you're
I understand
saying.
what you're saying as well. But I told you, I'm TCU. TCU is in the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is a great
Look,
conference,
but
and I
the
think it's the
question
closest.
was,
Well, yeah, what is
top
it?
four? Top four. Who's going to be in the college playoff?
I think the top four is going to be Clemson, Alabama, Baylor, if they are to go undefeated, and I think one of the non-big schools is going to be in there, like U of H. If U of H can go undefeated, if U of H is undefeated right now,
That's an
They
interesting
are.
pick.
and if they can win out and be undefeated for the rest of the season, I think they're gonna get a chance to get to because you got so many teams. It's gonna be 1 or 2 losses, and if you got it's so hard to go undefeated. No matter what conference you are, what team you are, it's hard to go undefeated.
I think
And
Clemson
I
will
see
go
them sneaking in
undefeated
there.
though, Dre, because I think Clemson's road now is the easiest. They have Syracuse this week, and then they'll probably play North Carolina for the ACC championship.
I'm with you on that.
I think they're going to have
Yeah.
a pretty easy ride, at least at this point. I think Florida State was their biggest challenge, and they won 13 to 23. So they proved themselves on the field against Florida State last week. Easy ride from here on out, Clemson. I'm sorry, Raina. You were trying to say something too.
go ahead.
Oh no, I'm kind of like out of this because my Oregon Ducks aren't doing very well. So go ahead, keep talking.
No, I agree with you on that Clemson pick. I would say Clemson, Bama. I have, let's see, I think Baylor could make it, just like Dre was saying, and I also think that Florida will be in there.
No, let me tell you why
Think
Florida.
Florida?
Florida won't be in there because Florida will lose the SEC championship to Bama.
Bama?
To
Yeah, so you
Bama.
got them championship
So,
games.
Oh, wait.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Did you
I flaked on that one. Hold on. Who do I have in there?
Because Florida was doing, you could have met, I mean.
No, because Florida right now is number 11.
Yeah, but Florida has that loss now. So, and what's
do I
going to
have?
What's going to happen is Florida will play Bama or LSU, but most likely Bama for the SEC championship, and then Florida will have 2 losses. So my top 4 will be Clemson, Bama, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State.
You know what? I don't know who I would put in the. I have
That's the
3. I
list.
don't know who I would
That's
put
right.
at the 4th one. I'm not sure.
My champion is going to be Clemson.
I'm telling you, watch out for U of H, man. They playing great football right now on both sides of the ball. And if they go undefeated, you got to show them some love.
Their
you
week
got to give
schedule's
H-Town some love. You
No, I
got to give
can't.
H-Town
Oh
some
yeah,
love.
you are
I'm
from
telling you.
Houston, but their week schedule is going to hurt them when it comes time to the
Well,
committee making selections.
Always, but if there's 2 undefeated teams in the top 4,
Okay.
and they're one of the only other undefeated teams in college football,
Okay.
you don't think that they have a right to be in the top 4?
They do not. But that's an argument for another day. We'll have to have a
Yeah,
whole
we
conversation
will.
about
We will.
cupcakes.
Okay.
Okay,
We will.
okay.
We will. Well, that is it for your college football session and the playoffs.
Okay, so let's move on to something. Well, actually, this one's not really positive, I guess, depending on how you look
Could
on
be
it.
positive.
Social media. So, social media accounts such as Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Snapchat. By the way, follow us. We have our handles. Serves as a platform for athletes or celebrities to keep in contact with their fans, but also but then you have your negative haters that hide behind the internet and will say some nasty stuff to just any celebrities or athletes. So the first topic, let's talk about their personal athletes' personal lives. Do you guys think that they should keep their social lives off of their social media accounts, like
You
what
mean
they
their,
do?
their personal lives?
Like
off of-
who they're dating, or who their children, maybe if they go out with their friends. Because the reason why I asked that is, do you guys remember when we were talking about I don't think you were here yet, but the Chloe and Lamar situation? So apparently on Sunday, Chloe and James Harden made their first public appearance at a club in Hollywood together.
That's exactly what I did too.
So
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, and it was all over the media. And Chloe allegedly took back Lamar Odom, and we're saying, there are rumors that she wanted to work things out with Lamar, and then James kind of
That's
stood
nasty.
quiet. But then Sunday, we see these pictures all over the internet. So what do you guys think about that?
Okay, so we all sat on this panel and took up for Chloe. I think you,
did.
Raina, you
was
and I.
Team Chloe and Lamar. I was like,
were.
oh, love.
It felt like
everything.
love.
And yeah.
Wait a minute. I thought you agreed with me in saying that it wasn't a good idea for her to get back with Lamar.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Because I did the.
Yeah, you did.
I did
You
the
did.
love or sucker or whatever the question
Yeah.
was. You're right. Okay.
You thought it was the emotional.
It was that emotional.
I was the one who was
decision.
played. I
Thank
got
you,
played.
Josh. Thank you, Josh, for reminding me.
Yeah, he did.
I was on the right side of
wasn't
history.
A good look. Wasn't a good
They
look for her.
actually agreed to something, guys.
did.
That's crazy.
But I believe that. But Chloe has reiterated recently that the reason that she has not completed the divorce from Lamar is for legal medical reasons.
And insurance reasons, saying that she wants to keep him on his insurance too. I think I saw that somewhere.
She wants to keep him.
Lamar on
her
her insurance, but the Kardashians, okay, they're so wealthy. I mean, and I'm sure Lamar still has a pretty nice nest egg somewhere as well. Can't you just start? I mean, we're in the open enrollment period. Can't you just pick up some new insurance?
Well, I want to know
Get you
where is Lamar? Are Lamar and Chloe living together right now? That's what I want to know because
Lamar's living at Cedar Sinai.
Is he still in the hospital?
I don't know.
No,
I
I'm
don't
saying
think
because
so.
how does that
He's
work
out.
that she can still, that she can still go out with James Harden and still, and then face Lamar the next day? Like, if I were him, I'd just be like,
I don't think they're living together. Like, that's awkward.
But either way, they see each other.
Who? Which one? Lamar and
Chloe.
But
They have to see each other.
See, I
right?
have this idea that Lamar is holed up somewhere in rehab, like physical rehabilitation.
Lamar, where you at?
I'm not sure. Somebody text him. If I need to figure this out. Where you at,
Let me
man?
comment on their Instagram really quickly.
I know.
Where you at, man? We want to know. We just want to check on you.
Right.
So basically, the reason why I asked that question is because James, opening the NBA season, he played terrible.
He did.
Like, he was. His shooting percentage was
testify.
terrible and everything, and fans were saying, it's because of Chloe, it's because of this whole their relationship, and they didn't really broadcast their relationship or post to each other or do anything about that during this time.
Mm-hmm.
But then Sunday, when this picture happened, it's all over the internet, and then Chloe posted a video of James, like a funny little video.
With that disgusting beard.
Yeah.
You don't like that
So this
beard.
was originally a social media picture.
This wasn't on their social media. It was on website. It was on their different websites, and they were tagged in the pictures. And so it was also on E! News last night.
Yeah.
By the way.
And then Chloe did post that video of
James.
To answer your question, Raina, I think that in this social media society, you almost cannot, as a celebrity, if your counterpart, your significant other is a celebrity, it almost is a necessity to post your significant other to promote your brand. Now, if you're Chloe and you're dating Joe Schmo that works at Starbucks,
Wait,
then no.
say that again.
Because Raina's question was, should athletes be posting their personal lives
yeah,
on social media?
media.
And I'm saying, yeah, if you're dating somebody who works at Starbucks or In-N-Out Burger, then no, don't post that person on social media. Keep that private. But if you are have the potential to be a power couple, it's almost a necessary
branding thing.
evil.
What's the difference?
You're saying it's a branding thing,
It's a
right?
branding thing because I'm Khloe Kardashian. I'm dating a teacher that works on UCLA. That's not sexy, but I'm Khloe Kardashian. I'm dating the possible front runner for NBA's MVP. The star of the
People are
Houston
gonna talk
Rockets.
about
That's something that will promote and launch my brand even further
people
into
buzzing.
significance, and that's more money in my pockets, and that's more longevity in my career, especially when I'm a Kardashian. I don't have any talent.
But when you're talking about athletes, that doesn't play a factor in an athlete.
You
know
don't
what I
think
mean?
so?
I think it does, but the question was, do you think athletes should keep their personal lives on social media?
And I'm saying that if you are dating someone who has the star power of a Chloe or of a Kim, then you better post your personal life with that person on social media. But if you're dating somebody who's low key under the radar, then it probably behooves you to keep it to yourself. That's what I'm saying.
I disagree
Yeah,
because
me too.
because Stephen Curry, his wife is in law school. She graduated from law school. He posts his wife on his social media. What's the difference between... See, that's why I don't like this whole basketball wives and all this kind of stuff, because it takes away from the average hardworking female who goes to work every day, who works a 9 to 5, regardless to what it is, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a doctor, whether it's cooking or whatever it is. It really shouldn't be a difference in that. They shouldn't be looked at differently just because they have a different job to make 6 figures versus making 6 figures because you're a basketball wife or a football player's wife. life or a celebrity. Either way it go, if you're grinding and you're doing what you have to do to be successful, you should be praised. Your significant others should praise you regardless to whether you're a celebrity or not. So the question, I think as an athlete, you absolutely should. The reason why we follow athletes on these social medias and these celebrities on social media is to see what they're doing, their everyday lives. We don't follow them to see their music videos. We can see that on BET. We can see that on VH1. We can see that on YouTube, right? So we follow these athletes and these celebrities because we want to see their personal lives. And that's why they have a significant followings. And you can also transfer that over to money and funds by posting the products and stuff like that. So you need that. I think it all works collectively. But I think you have to be smart with it and do it in the right way.
So are you saying that they should or should
not? I think they should. I think that's the reason why people follow these athletes on these social medias and these celebrities, to see their personal life, to kind of see like, what do you do on like a regular daily basis. I think that's the fun part of social media, when you feel like you can tap into that person's life on Instagram and kind of see what they've been doing all week.
Okay. I agree with Dre. I think that athletes, I am kind of interested if for my favorite athlete, I am interested in what they want to do, like off the court or in their everyday lives. However, because you are in the spotlight literally every single day, you can go out and get a coffee, and like if you look a mess, you're going to be on TMZ the next day. I think that you need to be mindful of what you are posting, what you wear. Everything is your reputation and your image is everything if you are a professional athlete. So bring it to back up what I'm saying. For example, D'Angelo Russell recently was ridiculed on his Instagram because he, like, literally right after a game, I guess he posted a picture of him. A loss, yes, a loss. Of course.
I was one of the ones that ridiculed him. I commented. That was me, D'Angelo. I did that.
Because it was a loss.
It was a loss.
I did that.
He posted a picture with one of those little Jiffy boards, I think.
Oh, yeah,
it was one of those, like, just like postage or with my new whatever. And, people were saying, you're not focused on the game, you're not this and that. I agree. I think that D'Angelo, that was not a smart move. It's an hour after the game. After a loss, and you want to post a picture with your new toy,
endorsing your little
I get that can wait for tomorrow, or that can wait for the end of the day. Like, you need to be mindful of what you put out there, and if it's your wife, if it's your girlfriend, whoever you're dating, make sure that you're going to be prepared for people to say or do research on your wife, on your girl. Yep. Make sure that you're prepared for that. So I don't know. I think there's a time and a place to do all that stuff.
Well, I mean, the way I see it is an athlete can do whatever they want. I mean, they can post on social media. They can choose not to be on social media. But if you're going to choose to be on social media and you're an athlete whose main occupation is to perform in games, I would say do it as long as it's not a distraction.
Okay.
And for D'Angelo, I believe it could be a distraction. Like I said earlier, I post on D'Angelo's. I commented.
Josh is a Twitter troll, guys.
I said, because I think he needs to be, like the way he's performing now, and the way the Lakers are performing, I think he needs to focus on, his occupation.
Focus. Yeah, he does.
Sometimes you got to stay off social media. There are some athletes out there who they choose to stay off social media either for the season or for the playoffs.
Yeah, like LeBron stayed
James
off.
did it. Colin Kaepernick did it.
Don't even.
So I got a question for all of y'all as individuals. Okay. So say if y'all were coaches for your favorite sport, right? If you were a coach for your favorite sport, would you tell because some teams, there's a couple teams where the coaches are like, you're not allowed to use social media during the season, period. So if you were a coach at, let's say both, at a college level, would you, coaching your favorite sport, would you want your team, would you ban your team from using social media, or do you feel like you should give them that freedom to be able to do that?
I would try to ban them, honestly.
You can't ban them.
You can.
I would monitor their social media, but I wouldn't tell them to stay off of it. And I would monitor and say, hey, where are they at? What are they doing? And make sure that it's not conflicting with their performance in the gym or on the field.
Josh, I disagree because you can ban, because there's certain organizations that you participate in college where you cannot be on social media for an extended period of time.
Absolutely.
And you do what the people tell you to do. If they say don't get on social media, you don't get on social media.
But what's keeping them from opening up an account that no one knows about and posting? It may not be pictures of them, but they're still up there on social media.
I mean, there's always going to be a way to skirt the issue and break the rules. But if I'm a coach, to Dre's question, and I had the ability to say, don't be on social media, I would ask my players or tell my players, social media is banned. What you do, sneaking out the window, go, whatever you're going to do to break your parents or break the coach's rules, whatever, I can't help that. But I would ask my players actually not to operate their social media.
During season?
During the season, because I think there's so much negativity about you, your team, your coaches, your performance. That gets into your head. And I don't care how long and how much you say, oh, I'm over that. I don't watch ESPN. I don't even play football. I can barely watch ESPN after my team loses. I can only imagine being a football player and having to read and watch. So, to your point, Dre, no, I would tell my players to be off of social media for the season.
That's cool. You say it's okay?
I wouldn't ban them unless I saw that it was a distraction.
You say you would?
Tell them not to be on social media.
I wouldn't ban them.
No.
I think that I think teaching them to, well, I would definitely monitor them, and I would definitely have rules. Like if I catch you with a drink in your hand during season, I'll definitely have that rule, like dry season, even if you're 21.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's a learning lesson for my players. So if they want to be focused on their social media or whatever, they want to post a picture and they're all in that, it helps them grow. Like they'll see all the negative comments on them, and if that's affecting your play time, that's when you need to reflect on yourself and you'll be like, okay, I need to put myself off of social media, because at the end of the day, after college, they're on their own. They need to have this. They need to experience life. What if they're in what if they become pro after, and I'm not, and I can't tell them not to be on social media. So it's like they need to know how to handle themselves on publicly. So that's where I would come from.
Yeah. Dre, what do you say? What was your
my answer is very similar to her. I would not ban them. I think they need to learn, because people criticize you with the memes and all this kind of stuff. When you're an adult, when you're 17, when you're 18, you're 1 or 2 steps away from being in the real world where don't nobody care about how you feel, don't nobody care about your feelings, don't nobody care about any of that. Right. You got to live. Am I right? You got to live. You got to get up. You got to pay bills.
You got to learn how to deal with that.
And you got to learn how to deal with whatever comes with that. And if you're at a job, if you work for Dell or if you work for Apple, they may not necessarily tell you, hey, don't post nothing on your this and that. But if you post a picture that's going to put you in jeopardy to lose your job, you're going to lose your job. You got to be careful to what you're going to post when you're in the real world. So you might as well, let them have that freedom to learn. Because then if you do make a mistake, you got people watching and say, look, you can't do that. Take that down. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when you're in the real world, if somebody posted, you don't always get that second opportunity to fix those mistakes.
Right.
What do you guys? Oh, go ahead, Raina.
No, I was just saying, like we said earlier, your reputation is everything. But also, I feel like with athletes and their social media accounts, we can relate this back to the Missouri situation. Like they can use. Well, actually, I think it's. Let me take that back, because I think as an NCAA rules that you can't. Advertise anything because you're a player.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So I don't think that you can do that. So never mind, forget that.
It's okay.
You still had a great point.
Yeah, you did. I appreciate your point about
Absolutely, that was a great point.
Okay, we are going to move on. Josh, yes. Josh.
Well, yeah, no. I thought we had one more thing to talk about with the social media, but.
We did. So I'm going to bring this question up from last week. I think it was a couple of us together. Would you put yourself in that professional athlete's shoes? Like, would you choose to not have a social media or not have an Instagram, Twitter, or Periscope during season? How would you handle yourself? So.
Oh, so it's kind of the same question, but as an
athlete yourself.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So let's do professional. If you're a professional athlete, star player, would you have an Instagram? Would you have a Twitter? And how would you monitor yourself?
Yeah, I would, but I would just I would, yeah. That's my answer.
I would definitely have, as a college and as a professional athlete, I would have social media accounts. And I mean, I had very strict parents growing up, so I'm still to this day very conscious of what I post.
Yeah.
Same thing. I would absolutely have one. I would just monitor it. You know what I mean? You got to just monitor it. You got to know you got a ton of fans following you if you're an athlete. So you got to know if you just lose a game, they ain't trying to see you doing. An hour later, they ain't trying to see you laughing and playing because people gamble. People live, die, love. I mean, that's all that they care and live for. So you should always be mindful.
Not
of that
only
kind of stuff.
posting pictures with stuff, but even if you go out after a game, if you're out in a club after a 20-point loss, there's cameras and there's paparazzi everywhere. Like you can get tagged on a picture as well.
Oh, yeah.
So like be mindful
too.
of your surroundings. But I would have one for sure for marketing purposes. So I mean, these players can get paid for like. The brands can pay, like if Express, they want me. Of course, I'm gonna dress up and post a picture. Express will get, that's my check, that's my money. So yeah, I definitely think athletes should use it for marketing purposes to promote their brand, for things that they want to stand up for. So I think that's a positive way athletes. Should
Would
use
y'all
it.
put y'all significant others on there openly,
I would.
regardless?
I mean, yeah. As once you reach a certain level, yeah, I don't see why not.
Regardless of what profession or where they were, like you.
Yeah, no,
I mean, some people like me. I tend to be private about certain things, and
I'm the same way.
that would be one of them.
I'm the same.
You
I'm the
know,
same
when
way.
it comes to money, relationships,
Family, yeah.
You know, I tend to be private on certain issues, and you know, not everybody has to know everything.
And I take that stance too. Like I post here and there, but when it comes to like family stuff, I'm like, this is, you know.
Yeah. But my question in transitioning, hoping to transition to the next topic is do you think social media plays a part in the amount of stories now that we see coming out about domestic violence in sports? Is because there seems to be kind of an uptick in what we hear about it, but is it because of does social media play a part? Cell phones, pictures, people taking video, what we see. For instance, what comes to mind, this isn't a domestic violence thing, but social media was involved in like the cephalosha and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like with the rise of social media, are we seeing, I'm trying to transition the topic to the next topic, but do you think it plays a part in what we hear about domestic violence cases?
Social media in general.
Yeah.
I think social media just makes us more aware of everything from domestic violence to cheating scandals in sports. I mean, the 24/7 news cycle is today what it was not 15 years ago. And social media is, of course, a part of that 24/7 news cycle. So, yes, to your point, Josh, I think social media makes us more aware of everything.
Right, because now people are using social media to put pressure on sports leagues, on the NFL, on the MLB, on the NHL, and saying, hey, this particular player did such and such and so, and now they're speaking out, and now you're seeing their, like, Twitter and Instagram, like Twitter being leveraged now to force these corporations to make these moves regarding their players.
To be honest, I actually use my social media accounts to look up information about the topics that we talk about, or if I'll like hashtag Mizzou, and I saw so many tweets, so many articles, and it's I look on Twitter and Instagram before I go to Google. Twitter more, because I'll just say Mizzou, and you'll see tweets from people using that, and then you'll see tweets that link to articles. But another thing that's not very good about social media is the memes, like they'll change like a positive thing to like something so negative, like the Greg Hardy, his face will be all over like with stupid sayings, like they change it into a joke, and I think that's but I mean that's the person.
Let's talk about Greg Hardy.
Yes.
Now, did he bring that? Did he bring that on himself? I mean, Greg Hardy has been in situations now where he not only the domestic dispute, but also his rage on the sidelines of the game, that he is now under some heavy scrutiny. So when you see memes like that, I mean, being in the spotlight, you're going to come across, and especially based on what you do and what he's being accused or had been accused of doing, well, you're going to have that kind of reaction from the public. But
well, yeah, I'm disgusted by the whole Greg Hardy situation.
Greg Hardy has issues, and the Cowboys organization has issues, and I do believe in second chances. And he without sin cast the first stone. Not judging him, not saying that he should not have a second chance, but I am saying he needs to be more aware of the kinds of things that he posts in the wake of this horrible domestic dispute. And he needs to get help. And the one thing that I want to say about domestic violence in sports, Josh and everyone, is that no excuses for ever hitting a woman, like no excuses ever. But you have to understand that these people are taught to hit, to fight. Like MMA fighters, football players are taught every day for a profession to be violent. And I would love if some research institution would like conduct a long-term study to figure out how different people who are trained assassins essentially are affected in their everyday lives, and those people have more propensity to be violent.
I want to say, or it's not, or a man. You can't, because there are situations where domestic violence can be against men. I just want to be fair.
Yeah.
But to your point, it would be an interesting study to see if that did play a cause, because we have situations now where they're discovering that in the case of football, brain injuries and multiple concussions now possibly being linked to depression later and possible suicide. So is that something that should be looked into? I believe so. But at the same time, you should know the difference between being on the field, suited up, hitting somebody for playing football, and being in a situation where you're facing your significant other or anyone and hitting them, throwing them, choking them. There is a difference still. There's a huge difference. Go ahead, Dre. I'm sorry.
I think there's signs. I think that regardless if you're trained to hit or whatever on the football field, it doesn't matter. If you're a violent person, you're going to be violent on the field or off the field. And I think if you can control yourself, if you're an adult and you can control yourself, it's important to learn how to hone that anger, to hone that emotion, to hone that, and not just let that out, regardless of whether it's on a football field, whether it's in life. Because if you can't do that in public and roll off and you're upset and hit somebody or put your hands on somebody, so you need to train yourself just as hard as you go and on the football field. You should go in life.
You should also. And when you're in the game, you know when to do it and when not to do it, according to the rules.
Unless you're Ndamukong Suh or dirty players like him like to kick.
And that's just
but he
insane.
knows what he's doing.
And that's just insane. And we're fortunate. And I wouldn't ever be so same thing. So if you saw Ndamukong Suh in the media for hitting his wife or for hitting a girl, would you be surprised? Would you be like, oh my God, or would you be like, man, that's
I wouldn't be surprised, but I've seen him do that on the field.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It should be it's vice versa. I mean, you know how to control yourself in life, you got to know how to control yourself on the field.
Now,
period.
Recently, MLB player Jose Reelz they've discovered now that he was arrested in Maui for choking his wife and throwing her against in a hotel and throwing her against the balcony sliding door. So we have yet another story of domestic violence in sports. And now, are we seeing an uptick? Are we seeing it more, or it has just always been going on? And
I think personally, Ray Rice should have been in jail. Oof. He should have did some time, because now it's you give the motion, and everybody was just looking at it from an NFL perspective. Everybody was like, oh, well, in the NFL, it's rules and and he just hit a woman. But if you put him on the outside world, just like everybody else, if it was me, it was you, it would have been a completely different thing. So when you let it slide in that world, in the sports world, then other athletes and other sports are going to think the same thing. If it happens to me, I'm just going to get a slap on the wrist. I'm not going to get any jail time. So they're more lenient. But if you made an example out of him, I guarantee you wouldn't have seen that same thing from that baseball player.
Really quick, we had the picture of Hope Solo up, and we were going with that. And you guys probably saw that picture. We were going with that was, is there a double standard between men committing domestic violence and women committing domestic violence in sports? And the fact that we see men being punished by their leagues and civilly, but not the same thing happening for women by their leagues. And the picture was of Hope Solo, and the fact that many people said that she didn't have the correct punishment for the domestic dispute that she had. And there's cases like there's one other case, I think Brittany Griner did get a suspension for 7 games, but Ronda Rousey the same thing.
And this is such a heated topic, guys, and let's promise our viewers to start off next week's episode with this, because I'm sure there will be unfortunately another incident that we can piggyback and add to the conversation. We will finish this conversation next week. In the meantime, thank you guys for watching The Branded Athlete on Black Hollywood Live. I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can follow me on Twitter at Erica Renee D, and on Instagram, Snapchat, and Periscope.
I'm Andre Dean. You can follow me at Andre the Giant, AUNDRETHAGIANT, Andre the Giant.
And I'm Raina Ale. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Raina_Ale.
And I'm Joshua Johnson. Find me on social media at JJ the Talented.
And make sure you guys keep checking back with BlackHollywoodLive.com and follow Black Hollywood Live on Twitter at BHL Online. Until next Thursday night, we will see you.
Go see Carter High.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.